Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Melinda. I've been away. I've been many places, so I haven't had time to record. But I wanted to talk about some things that I have learned and give you a little background about myself. I have always known of the other worlds. I was born with that knowledge, like a lot of other people. But a lot of times people don't have the ability or the space or the wherewithal to know this ahead, know this early in their life. But because I was actually born 85 years after the emancipation of the proclamation, where the alleged freeing of the slaves took place. My grandmother, who raised me, mother, was born into slavery. That's very close. I know my grandmother raised me, and she had a lot of things, knowledge that people are born with. The thing that I never understood about my people, black people, the thing I don't understand now, is how they are ignoring this magical knowledge that we inherited from our forefathers. Because I was born so close to that time, and the energy of slavery was very, very prevalent when I was born. But because I was born into a well-to-do, rich black family, I had a very, very happy childhood. Very happy childhood. So I had time to think about the things that I felt inside and did not understand until my mother and my grandmother, who lived right next door, so I had access to her at all times, taught me how to manage the energy that I was feeling and didn't know what it was. I do know a lot about energy. I do know that human beings are basically energy in different forms. But if you're not aware of these things, then you cannot comprehend what's happening around you. Everything is energy. Everything is affected by energy. Energy is it in the world that we live. And it's very powerful, but you must first understand it and know the ramifications or some of the ramifications of it. I spent my whole life collecting. I'm a seeker of knowledge, and I had the world at my fingertips because of who I was. My family taught me the meaning of your name and where you come from and who you are and whose you are. So I had a really, really good send-off in life, and I was selfish and didn't know that it was a privilege to have it because I had it from the moment I was born. So I became a little spoiled and a little all that negative stuff until I got out in the world. Then I learned to manage my powers. I wrote a book, the book you see here, Merit Magic. And it talks about my life and how I was raised. And it's a book you might want to read, but now I want to tell you about some things I know about that's going on right now. We're at a very, very interesting point now in the world in which we live. One must understand this and figure out a way to raise their energy level to the magic quality that we all possess. People don't understand that human beings are very magical. I understand it clearly because I'm a descendant of slaves. And if black people had not been magical at that time, they would not be here today. I would not be here today. So I came into the world with that knowledge, that the reason I am here is because I possess an innate knowledge that was not my doing, but was passed down to me through your, what they say, genes now? My grandma now used to say, it's in your blood. You inherited my blood. Therefore, you are carrying this blood. And you don't have to wonder and worry about it because it's there. You just need to acknowledge it and learn to control it. And your life will be easy, and my life has been easy, really easy. But the trick to me is there's always a dichotomy. I'm a hermit by nature, but I have to be out there to get the knowledge I want to have. So that was always a kind of problem for me. But now, with the advent of the internet and my channel, thank you for coming. Thank you for maybe staying. And I hope you'll tell somebody about me. I have a lot of knowledge, extremely. Look at the cards. I have a natural gift in tarot cards. Reason being, the spread I do is called the cosmic spread. And it's a deep way of figuring out how connected you are to the universe. Because if you can connect to the universe and live the universal spirituality, your life will be better, much better. When we were young, the old folk always said, hold your dignity. Hold your dignity. That's how they expressed spirituality back then. There were a lot of words that they didn't know that we now know, but they knew and understood the principle. They would say, hold your dignity. If we had not held our dignity and our spirituality during the slave time, we would not be here. White people hated us and treated us so badly. People don't even like to talk about it no more. That's why the critical race theory can't be talked about. The people who did the terrible, terrible things don't want it mentioned. Don't talk about it. Because they plan to wipe it out of history. That's their plan, but it's not going to work. They still don't know who they're dealing with. After all we have accomplished from slavery to now, they still don't know who we are. They don't know the power that we possess. But if they would settle down and think about how we survived that slave and got to the point where we are right now, we held our dignity. We held our dignity even though we didn't have the verbiage to express it like we can now. The old people, the last thing they would say to you when you left their house, hold your dignity. Hold your dignity. And that's what I'm telling you people tonight. Hold your dignity. Because something is about to happen that's going to shake this space that we live in. Let me tell you something. I wrote a book, Age of Aquarius, Spiritual Reckoning. Anyway, I wrote a book and I talked about what happened to Pompeii, Italy. A lot of people don't know about that story. Where the volcano erupted and just wiped everybody out with bam, no time. They heard it. They heard the rumbling. They were not afraid because they had heard the rumbling for years. But one day, it happened. And you can read about it in your book, or you can buy my book, Age of Aquarius, Spiritual Reckoning, and it will tell you that story. But now I want to connect that to what's about to happen now. In Colombia, there's a volcano, major volcano, that's threatening and is about to explode with the same impact it could have for the Colombia people. The people can't get out. They haven't evacuated. But where could they go? Where could they go? My point I'm making, history repeats itself. And we're at a point where there are things repeating themselves. One thing that was repeated itself this time while we are here, that's why I'm talking about the volcano, was the green comet. I said in a video I did in February about the green comet. That's something that hasn't been seen in 50,000 years, according to the people who document that kind of stuff. 50,000 years. But guess what? We are so special. We get to see it. I had a telescope. I watched it. I documented a lot of stuff. My niece gets sick of me because I'm always documenting stuff. But I don't print too much because I'm a hermit and I don't want to be bothered with what the excess of it would be. But I do like to communicate. But if you think about just some of the things that I went over, I talked fast, I said it, a lot of things, but really, I'm just trying to get you to wake up right now. I want you to learn the theory behind hold your dignity. There's one thing that we're missing at this point in culture. People don't have their dignity right now. They don't display it and they don't give it out. But I want to say to you, from my grandma, hold your dignity. My great-grandmama was born into slavery, but she held her dignity. She had my grandmother, who held her dignity, and I'm here because I hold my dignity. Thank you for listening. I'll have a lot more. Please subscribe, share, like, let me know what you think of what I had to say. Contact me, let me know what you feel about me. Thank you.